You are value. You are power. You are spirit. You are intelligence. The universe exists for you. That is why it was created before you were placed in it. As such, money, being part of the physical universe, exists for you. It is humans that created money as a means of exchanging value with one another. It is money that wants you. It is money that needs you. It is money that is supposed to be working for you. And yes, money is as abundant as the air is abundant to the birds, as the sea is abundant to the fishes. When you are struggling with money, it has nothing to do with your religion, your education, your effort, your connections, and everything else that you have been blaming. When you are struggling with money, it simply means that you are not in alignment with the laws of abundance that govern the universe. This lack of alignment can always be traced back to ignorance. Ignorance as a result of the myths that have been programmed into you about money. Ignorance as a result of the social identity that was created for you by your environment and that you have been living from without knowing, creating your poverty experience habitually without knowing. Money is energy. Money is universal. Money is abundant. And when you look at the lives of the people who have money, you can know for sure that money is big money. The real money is big money. And the big money comes effortlessly through multiple channels in ever-increasing quantities on a continuous basis. I am Godfrey Eso. Welcome to this final unit on our course, Becoming a Quantum Magnet to Money. This unit is essentially a wrap-up. So here we are going to review the various lessons that we have seen in this course and then spend some time on our quantum manifestation formula, our 5-step daily exercise on manifesting money. So, in the introduction to this course, I demonstrated to you how there is a difference between your socially conditioned identity versus your authentic identity. Imagine yourself like, let's say, a mango. The mature mango tree produces a mango fruit which falls to the ground. You probably pick it up, wash it, and eat it, or maybe you harvested it from the tree itself. But when you pay attention, you realize that the fruit is not an end result. The mango fruit is actually a container for the mango seed, and that mango seed carries within it the genetic material for the mango tree. In other words, when the mango tree is producing fruits, it's not thinking about the humans who need it for food. It is doing that as a mechanism for propagating itself, such that the destiny of the mango fruit is actually that it needs to fall to the ground and die so that a new mango tree can be born. When the new mango tree is born, now you have an identical copy of the parent tree. And that is how a tree becomes a forest ad infinitum. So the law of multiplication is the same law that governs human life. You are a spiritual entity that is basically an individualization of the universal spirit, which you call God, the primordial presence through which from which all of us emerge. So when you come to earth, your body is essentially a fruit that contains the seed, the God seed within it. So your physical identity, your material self, is not the actual you, it's the covering, the seed, the vehicle of the authentic self. And so your real life is a spiritual evolution. You transcending the material identity, the physical identity, the socially conditioned identity, so that you can awaken your authentic spiritual identity. When that spiritual self awakens, you are now in alignment with your divine self. You are in alignment with the laws of abundance, and that is how prosperity, wealth, and abundance flow to you spontaneously, because that is your natural state. So we have seen how you were programmed into this conditioned, struggling self. And in the introductory unit of this course, I demonstrated to you the steps through which you have been conditioned. By understanding those steps of conditioning, you become aware. That is the most important thing, expanding your awareness. Because once you expand your awareness, you become bigger than that conditioning. You become capable of now reorchestrating your new identity. So, how were you programmed? You were programmed through pre-genetic orchestration. So the collective consciousness of humanity is the seed out of which your soul was formed through the funneling, right, of this collective consciousness along your ancestral lines, right down to your parents. So each of us carries a soul or a subconscious self, which is basically an individuation of the collective consciousness of humanity. This soul, consider it like a wave that is part of the ocean. But how was that particular wave formed? It was orchestrated through the lineage that brought you about. Same way your physical self was programmed through genetic selection. Again, the gene pool of humanity has been narrowed down through your ancestry and through your parents to form this specific gene sequence that formed this body that looks like, the person you're looking at. So the first level of, or the first mechanism of conditioning is pre-genetic orchestration. The second one is genetic selection. The third one is epigenetic control. When you were in your mother's womb, you were part of your mother's physiology, meaning that her thoughts, her feelings, her diet, her activities, all the stress she went through, all the ambitions, all the frustrations, they basically were part of your experience. And that went a long way into programming this version of you. Now, when you came out of your mother's womb, you got programmed through parental mirroring. Do you realize that a kid can be playing a computer game and overhearing the parents' conversation and watching a TV program at the same time? Because kids are geniuses. Their subconscious is literally wide open because they have not yet developed a sense of self, a sense of identity. That is why kids usually speak in the third person. Godi wants to eat. Clara wants to pee. Kids don't yet have that sense of individuality that adults have because they are still constructing their identity. And at that stage, their subconscious mind is wide open, so they basically mirror everything around them. Take a kid from London and place that kid in Bamenda. That kid will speak Ngemba or Pidgin in no time. Take a Chinese kid and bring that kid to America. The kid will learn English faster than their parents. Take a kid from an Indian home living in China and schooling in an English school, the child ends up speaking Chinese, Indian, and English all at the same time. So that's how marvelous, or that's how, you know, wonderful or amazing the human mind is when you are a child between the age of 0 and, let's say, 6 or 7. So all the experiences we create for our families, our kids mirror those experiences, and it becomes part of their identity. And unfortunately, we don't know what we are doing. So most of us are victims of the kind of homes we grew up in. Victims because most homes are messed up, like you know. So the next mechanism of conditioning is environmental programming. By environment here, we're looking at the educational system that programs you through the curriculum, the religious system that programs you through dogmas and creeds, your cultural environment, your tradition that programs you through cultural stereotypes, the media that programs you through propaganda, and of course, politics that programs you through the economic systems that they create, you know, to as a means of pursuing their political ambitions. So all of that goes into constructing your sense of reality and by default your sense of identity. The final mechanism for identity, um, for the conditioned identity, is autosuggestive feedback, or what some people call neuro-linguistic programming. So there is a loop that is always going on. Your thoughts influence your feelings. Your feelings influence your actions. Your actions create your results. Your results reinforce your paradigms, and your paradigms inspire your thoughts, and the cycle begins all over. That is the automatic system that is running your life when you are not conscious. And unfortunately, 95% of humans are living their life on passive mode. So what happens is that all these mechanisms that have programmed your identity for you now gives you an identity, a paradigm that is running your life on autopilot. And with every new day that passes, the experiences you're gathering are reinforcing that conditioning. So from the time you developed a sense of identity, maybe from the age of 8 to now, you are the one that has been creating your own destiny. Don't blame any god or any ancestor or any government. It is you. The difference is that you've not been aware of it, but now you are aware. So in the first unit of our course, we looked at the evolution of money. And we saw how from the earliest human beings, the only thing that really mattered was value sharing. They were living in a value sharing economy, a shared economy. We traced the evolution of money through the forms that money has taken over the years. Trade by barter, tokens, precious metals, coins, then paper money. We looked at the gold standard. We saw the disruptions that occurred during the 19th and 20th centuries, how the dollar became the reserve currency of the world, and how the American president, Richard Nixon, took the US dollar off the gold standard, basically turning money into fake money. We saw how money became digital and how cryptocurrency is redefining the concept of money, and how we are gradually returning to the value sharing economy. And the morale of that unit on the evolution of money is to demonstrate to you that money is not a thing. Actual money is value, And if you know that you are value and you understand how the concept of money evolved, then you would have shattered those myths that have been holding you captive, making you to wake up chasing money. In the second unit, we looked at the real nature of money, and we saw that money is actually energy in motion seeking value. That is what a current is, and the word current is from the term currency. Oh, sorry, the term currency is from the word current. So, by knowing the true nature of money as energy and motion seeking value, you positioned yourself, or you became conscious enough to re-examine your relationship with money, because the theme of this course is becoming a quantum magnet for money. In a magnetic relationship, there's polarity. There is the magnet and there's the thing being magnetized, right? So when you invest value in money, it means that money is the God and you are the servant. So you are the one to chase money. You are the one to earn money. You are the one working for money. And that is where most people are. But through this course, you have received the tools, the knowledge to repolarize yourself so that you become the magnet, and then money becomes the thing that is chasing you. And all of that is a mental process, is an emotional process, is a spiritual process. That is why each unit in this course focuses on one domain that can rewire your brain, rewire your heart, rewire your awareness, rewire your actions. We used the Maslow's hierarchy of needs as a model to show you that indeed it is your birthright to have abundance, because you cannot conceive of a human being without implying that that person needs to breathe, that person needs to eat, that person needs to bathe, that person needs to wear clothes, that person needs a roof over their head, that person needs to be able to communicate, that person needs loving relationships, that person needs work, education, healthcare, and spiritual pursuits. So by virtue of being alive, you are entitled to what Maslow calls the needs, right? Which he used to create the hierarchy of needs. You're entitled to what I call the pentagram of values, the manifestation of your spiritual values, your mental values, your emotional values, your social values, and your physical values are intrinsic qualities of being human. And if we are living in an economy that requires us to exchange money for these values, it goes without saying that money is your right. Not just enough money to survive on, but an abundance of money, because there is no such thing as limited supply of money. Money is created by humans, and so long as it is human value exchange that makes money worthwhile, there can never be any limit to the amount of money in circulation, because there's no limit to how much value humans can transact with one another. We also introduced the success code, which basically gives you a blueprint of how you can now sit down and plan your life, start where you are, code those various domains of the success code into your life, and build your future confidently, one step at a time. So it doesn't matter where you are right now. It doesn't matter where you want to go right now. The important thing is know where you are and where you are going, and then use the success code to, as a blueprint for orchestrating that future that you want to create. Life functions by law and order because we live in a very organized universe. Superstition is just a manifestation of ignorance, and it is superstitious people that assume that things happen to them by chance. Nothing happens by chance. Knowledge is the true wealth, and when you put knowledge to work, you will definitely be wealthy. So in the last unit, we looked at the myths that keep people in poverty, myths that are as a result of your environmental programming. So you see that the last unit is closely tied to the introductory unit of our course. And we took each of those myths one at a time and debunked them. So now you have at your fingertips all the money that you desire, because all the things that have been blocking the flow of money to you, they are now out of your way. The false identity from which you have been living is now out of the way, because now you understand how that false identity was constructed for you through social conditioning. The wrong notion that money is a thing that you're supposed to be working for, it's now out of the way, because now you have studied the evolution of money, and I'm sure you're now laughing at yourself because you now know what money is. We have looked at the real nature of money: energy and motion, pursuing value. Now you know that you are value, and because you are value, it is money that is seeking you. So thank you so much for being part of this course. In order for you to get the most out of a course like this one, I recommend that you don't think that you're done with it. Go back and review these lessons over and over and over. If you can take this course once every week over maybe 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks, it will work miracles in your life, because quantum transformation is a process. It's not magic. You need to rewire your brain. You need to rewire your beliefs. You need to rewire your behaviors. And in fact, you need to re-engineer a new identity. All of this takes time and persistence and dedication. And this course is only a tool that is going to help you do that. No one can do it for you. Money is not something you work for. The people who work for money never get enough of it, and in fact they trade off the valuable things in their life in exchange for the paycheck that will help them to just pay the bills and keep working. Real money is big money, abundant money. Abundant money flows to you effortlessly through multiple channels in ever increasing quantities on a continuous basis. So you want to become that magnet to which money flows effortlessly. And the way to become that magnet is to polarize yourself with these tools that you have received in this course. Today's activity, of course, is our 5-step formula for manifesting money. 1, you spiritualize. 2, you mentalize. 3, you emotionalize or you empathize. 4, you personalize, and 5, you actualize. You spiritualize by doing what you're doing right now, spending time with inspirational content, be it books you're reading or courses you're taking or videos you are watching. When you gather that knowledge, spend time with it, meditate on it so that it flows from your head to your heart. Become one with the new knowledge that you are receiving. This is how you get into the spirit of abundance, because what this course is doing is that it's helping you migrate your awareness from sense consciousness to spirit consciousness. So meditation is important, or whatever other spiritual activity that is more conducive for you, but you begin with inspired knowledge, and then you meditate as a means of allowing that knowledge to sink into your subconscious. You mentalize by defining how much money you want, and the standard we are using for this course is that you should set as your new financial goal turning your previous annual income into your monthly income. Write it down, right? Then look for conceive a scene that implies that you already have that money. So be it the kind of places you'll be visiting, the kind of things you'll be doing, the kind of people you'll be interacting with, the kind of house you'll be living in, the kind of conversation you'll be having with your friends if you were that wealthy version of you. Conceive a scene, something short and concise that implies that you already have that money. Then play it as a mental movie every night before you fall asleep. The third step is to empathize. To empathize means to become emotionally one with someone or something. So the someone that you are empathizing with is the wealthy version of you. And to empathize with the wealthy version of you simply means to select a feeling that corresponds with the state of already having that money. So just as you conceived a scene that implies that you already have the money, just look for the emotion that corresponds with that scene, and then you immerse yourself in it. So when you're doing your nighttime meditation, or when you're falling asleep in the vision of your wealthy self, make sure that the feeling goes along with it. You should feel now that feeling that would be yours if you already had that abundance. The fourth step is to personalize. Just as you have the image of the money in your head and you have the feeling of it in your heart, it's going to come to you through your physical body and effort, right? So you need to prime this wealth into your DNA, and you do that by mirroring the personality of that wealthy self. Pick one personal attribute of that wealthy self, the things that that wealthy self normally does. For example, giving. When you give, you are confirming that you are abundant. So no matter what you have now, always find something each day that you can share with someone else. Because when you share something with someone else, you're creating value to that person. And that person's point of need is what defines the value of what you give them. It's not what you give that defines value, it's what the level of need that the person has. So you can give a coat to a homeless person in the winter, and that coat has the same value to that person that your dream car or your dream house would have for you. So the universe does not care about the dollar amount that you're expecting, or whether it's a hut or a mansion that you want to live in. The universe does not care about those. The universe is a vibrational universe. It is the feeling that you communicate to the universe that orchestrates your receiving. So when you find something to give each day, you are imprinting in your DNA the conviction, the belief, the reality that you are an abundant person. And the law is that to them that have, more is given. So when you create the feeling of abundance, then the universe will bring you more abundance. And now that all the wealth is yours, you have spiritualized, you have mentalized, you have empathized, you have personalized, all the wealth is set up for you. How do you receive it? You receive it by taking inspired action, because you need to be at the right place at the right time, interacting with the right people, doing the right thing in order to create those channels. Basically, it's like how going to the stream with a bucket. If you go to the stream and you don't have a bucket with which to fetch water, the stream is there, the water is there for you, but you cannot take it home. So the physical action is the container with which you receive. So get rid of the hustling idea that you need to figure out exactly what you need to do in order to receive the money, or you need to work hard or work extra hours, or all of that is the old way of thinking. It's the uh, getting money through effort, turning stones to bread. But the way the universe works, no, everything material emerges from the spiritual. So when you work with the universe, you will have abundance. There is no debate about that. So when you wake up each day, listen to your intuition, follow your beliefs, take the actions that you're inspired to take for that day, and the universe will definitely lead you to receiving the good that is yours.